Hero tier list for solos, let's get right into it. Echo's A tier. He's very easy to play, potentially getting high reward for minimal risk and effort. His first and second skills are both commonly used in solos since they can help him to mitigate potential incoming damage, while also potentially giving him an advantage in neutral. His second ultimate gives him access to decent self-healing, stagger resistance, purple and gold focus, and crowd control, and is usually preferred in solo mode. Our newest hero, Cyra, will be going into the C tier. This character is still really new, so I don't feel super confident about her placement in C tier, and after playing her some more, I feel like she probably belongs in B tier. Her second ability is pretty good, she can use it on herself to get a heal, but it also forces the enemy to deal with the dazzle. Her first ultimate is decent, the health shield is good for preventing fire or shadow damage, but her ultimate lacks substantial damage potential and is easy to run away from after the first dazzle. Next is Feria, A tier. Her recent rework has given her more versatility in solos. Her first skill can be used to stay safe and play slow, or her second skill can be used to play tactically and aggressively. Feria will always want to use her second ultimate for solos. The pillar drop has a million good uses and should never be undervalued. The big problem with Feria in solos is that she gets focused whenever she's in her mech, but in isolated 1v1 fights, Feria is very dangerous. Hadi will also be going into the A tier. Hadi has recently gotten hit with some hard nerfs that mostly affected him in team modes, since his second ultimate goes mostly unaffected for solo situations. Hadi is still good in solos, remaining one of the safer characters to pick in this meta since his defensive F skill can get him out of a lot of things, while his ultimate is incredibly safe and threatening to those on the ground. He should watch out for Justina, Temulch, Tessa, or Valda, because these characters can easily deal with his ultimate's flight mode. For solos, I think Justina should go in the S tier. This character never gets nerfed, only buffed. He has very easy TOD combos, accessible with many weapons and different soul jades, while also being able to use her ultimate to run or escape a fight, and the third party potential on her ultimate is actually insane. This character isn't super easy to play, but not super hard either, and it's unlikely that Justina will ever be in a bad state of balance. Kurumi, C tier. If you play Kurumi in solos, you know what you're getting into. She's a healer, a support character that is best played in team mode so she has someone to support. In solos, Kurumi can only rely on her self-healing to sustain her through mistakes so she can win her fights from neutral. Kurumi player in solos must know how to deal with every ultimate without the help of strong offensive abilities and without the ability to run away. Kylin is going B tier. Kylin has gotten a few nerfs recently and these do affect him in team modes and in solo mode. Kylin wasn't that bad in solos before the nerfs, but now he struggles to be able to take the advantage against other strong characters when they also have their ultimate. He can be strong in a final circle situation since his ultimates can prevent him from dying for a few seconds while he can heavily displace enemies and heal a little bit. Next we have Lyam going into the A tier. Lyam has had some nerfs recently, but he still has access to some strong TOD combos with his second ultimate. Even his first ultimate has huge combo potential with some self-healing, and both ultimates give him good control over any given situation, while his defensive skill is still one of the best in the game since he can use it before he takes the parry punish damage and he doesn't drop his weapon. His combo skill can also be used in solos. Then we have Matari in A tier. Most solo Mataris will use second ultimate for the ability to teleport behind an enemy, and second skill for the ability to dash with up to gold focus for potentially a couple hundred damage with guaranteed follow-ups. Matari's big weakness in solos is the fact that she doesn't have any abilities she can use while under attack, so Matari is always at risk of getting TOD'd by the likes of Justina, Valda, or Tarka. Monk is going to go in D tier. I don't care how you feel about this character, Monk is bad in solos. Period. Don't even comment, talk about, you must not realize Monk's true power, don't disrespect my boy, because this character sucks in solos. That's it. Moving on to Shayol, she will go in C tier. Shayol can be good, but generally speaking, this character is outclassed in every way by other characters whose offensive abilities are easier to hit and do more, and her ultimate lacks any real sense of threat in a 1v1 or multi-party situation, since there are such high levels of counterplay available to it, like shooting Shayol to damage her without triggering her block. Both versions of her ultimate are incredibly easy to dodge if you just look at her and react to it, and even when she does land an ultimate attack, the damage is not substantial. Takeda is next, going in B tier. This character can be very good, but has some hard matchups in general. When Takeda makes a mistake in his ultimate, it's more detrimental than a lot of the other strong characters making a single mistake, since Takeda only gets a limited number of uses from his ultimate, and doesn't benefit from any passive bonuses during this time. He'll want his first ultimate in solos, and any of his skills are okay in solo mode, with second and third skills being preferred by playstyle. Then there's Tarka, and he'll be in B tier as well. Tarka is pretty strong against any character that doesn't have a defensive ability equipped, since he has access to the easiest infinite combo in the game in his ultimate, but generally speaking, this character is a bit weak. He is hard for new players to deal with, but experienced players that know how to deal with him can agree that he is only as threatening as the player using him. Tarka is very hard to perform well with, yet has insane potential since his ultimate breaks so many of the game's core combat elements. And Temulch belongs in A tier. Temulch is in a terrific spot right now, balance-wise, boasting an 18-second cooldown on a defensive ability that gives him protection from ranged attacks until he uses it as an offensive, combo-starting ability that does heavy CC that an enemy can't use a defensive ability out of. What the fuck? Then, when Temulch uses his ultimate, he will immediately drain all the stamina from any enemy inside the tornado area, while allowing himself to endlessly recharge the ranged attack deflecting offensive skill that does heavy CC that an enemy can't use a defensive ability out of? What the fuck? A good Temulch in solos will likely use first skill since it travels faster than the heat-seeking one, and his third ultimate so he can pass through the tornado to reload his F skill. Tessa is very good in solos, A tier. Her defensive skill is usually preferred in solos, along with her first ultimate. Tessa has good matchups against Hadi, Feria, and Lyam, while struggling against the likes of Zai, Matari, and Akos. Tessa wants to play slow and control the distance until she can get an ultimate on the enemy, at which point her goal changes to killing an enemy as fast as possible, trying to dispose of them in a single enchant. Valda is back, A tier. While she hasn't quite been returned to her former glory in the summer of 2023, Valda's rework brought her more in line with the rest of the cast in terms of viability. She'd been sucking for a while, especially in solos where she just didn't have a useful ultimate, and I stopped maining this character for about a year until this recent rework. Now, her offensive first skill has extra versatility with the charge option, and both of her skills can interrupt gold weapon focus. Her second ultimate is her preferred pick for solos, now that it lasts long enough to be useful again, and can lead to many different TODs. Needless to say, I'm back to playing Valda full time. Solo Viper will be in B tier. Viper tends to take third skill and third ultimate in solos, though some use second skill for the silence. Third skill does a ton of damage on a low cooldown and reduces enemy healing, helping to control situations by giving enemies reason not to heal when they should, or denying precious self-healing from an enemy ability. Viper's third ultimate should be used before the enemy has a chance to use their ultimate, and a good Viper only needs this 5 seconds of pressure to win a fight. Wuchen, not looking good in solos, C tier. While his rework brought him a decent offensive ultimate, it is just only that, decent. His offensive ultimate is slow and telegraphed, making it very easy to dodge, and a missed one is not much of a threat at all. His swap ability can be used for starting a combo on an enemy or running away, but it also tends to be slow and obvious. Yoto is going into the C tier as well. Her defensive third skill is good for solos, but her second skill can be useful too since the second activation can be used while under attack. Her third ultimate is still the only one that anyone wants to use since the other two tend to be so much less valuable, and though she can be good in a final circle situation, it's unlikely that she makes it that far since her ultimate can't keep up with the damage and pressure potential of our higher tier heroes' ultimates. Yueshan is going down into the C tier. Yueshan is real tough to use in solos, mostly since his ultimate can be easily dealt with in some situations depending on the terrain, trees, or buildings around. He gets countered by Feria and Justina, and a Yueshan can be fairly easily dodged on reaction, but a good Yueshan can be very dangerous to try to raw dodge. Most Yueshans use his defensive skill and skewer in solos. Zai will go A tier. Her ultimate has incredibly high potential damage, with the added burning effect to deny healing and apply direct HP damage with her second ultimate, which is usually preferred, but her first ultimate can provide good self-healing. Both skills are acceptable in solos depending on playstyle, since her defensive skill is good for escaping and repositioning, while her second skill does substantial damage and burn. Lastly, we have Zeping going into the A tier. Zeping is still fairly strong in solos, though she will struggle against Zai or Tarka since they can apply fire damage, which shuts down Zeping since the healing from her skills or ultimates gets cut in half whenever she's burning. The strongest characters in solos right now usually have either increased mobility, strong CC, or both, and since Zeping doesn't have either of these things, she has a hard time keeping up with those that do. Alright, this is the ranking lineup now, guys. Justina is the only S tier hero, but many heroes are very good in solos right now. Let me know what placements you agree or disagree with in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, it helps me out a ton, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next tier list. I'm trying to find a way to get more videos out to you guys, and if you want to support me, join the channel as a member using the join button below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one.